Hey there, have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you're losing grip on reality, wondering, did I really say that, or am I just overthinking? You're not alone. Today we're unraveling 5 surprising ways gaslighters manipulate your mind and expose the dark psychology behind their tactics. Gaslighting is more than just a buzzword. It's one of the most subtle yet destructive forms of manipulation out there, and it thrives on confusion. Whether it's a friend twisting your words, a partner making you doubt your emotions, or a coworker undermining your confidence, gaslighting has a way of turning your own mind into unfamiliar territory. But here's the thing, no one deserves to live in the fog of self-doubt. Breaking free from a gaslighter grip doesn't require a psychology degree or years of therapy. It starts with understanding their tactics and recognizing the subtle ways they try to take control of your thoughts. By the end of this video you'll have the tools to spot their manipulation and protect your mental clarity, inspired by timeless Stoic wisdom. Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more ways to improve your emotional control. So if you're ready to reclaim your power and see through the games, let's get started. Rewriting the narrative, the subtle art of making you forget. Think of a book you've read cover to cover, a story you know by heart. Now imagine someone sneaks and tears out pages, rearranges chapters, and scribbles over crucial scenes. By the time you pick it up again, it's almost unrecognizable. But the thief swears it's always been this way. This is how a gaslighter rewrites your narrative, not with a pen but with persistent, calculated manipulation of your memory and reality. When gaslighters rewrite the past, it's not always loud or obvious. They don't scream "you're wrong." Instead, they plant subtle seeds of doubt. A conversation you are sure unfolded one way is reframed entirely. "That's not what I said," or worse, "you're remembering it all wrong." At first these comments might seem trivial. After all, no one remembers everything perfectly right. But over time, the constant denial of your reality erodes your confidence in your own memory. You find yourself questioning what you saw, heard, or even felt. The gaslighter's ultimate goal to become the gatekeeper of your reality. This tactic works so effectively because memory is inherently fragile. Psychologists call it memory distortion, the brain's tendency to fill in gaps with suggestions or external influences. A gaslighter preys on this natural vulnerability, weaving their version of events so convincingly that you begin to doubt your own. It's as if they've hacked into your internal compass, leaving you spinning in circles and dependent on them to guide you. Think about the emotional toll this takes. Each rewritten story chips away at your trust in yourself. You might start replaying conversations in your mind, obsessively questioning whether you misunderstood or overreacted. Maybe you even start apologizing for things you didn't do just to keep the peace. This is how gaslighting quietly dismantles your sense of self brick by brick. So how do you fight back? It begins with anchoring yourself to the truth. Keep a journal, not just for events but for feelings. Write down conversations, decisions, and key moments as they happen. Over time, this record becomes your lighthouse in the fog of manipulation. When doubts creep in, you'll have concrete evidence to ground yourself. But anchoring yourself isn't just about keeping records, it's also about reconnecting with your instincts. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, taught that clarity comes from within. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Apply this wisdom. Trust the clarity that resides in your gut and intuition. If something feels off, it probably is." It also helps to surround yourself with people who validate your reality. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, where your feelings and perceptions are acknowledged, not erased. The more you reinforce this foundation of support, the less likely a gaslighter can succeed in pulling the rug out from under you. Rewriting the narrative is one of the most insidious tools in a gaslighter's arsenal, but it's not undefeatable. The key is awareness and action, catching the subtle manipulations early and holding on to your inner truth like a fortress, because no one, no matter how skilled, has the right to rewrite your story. Weaponizing empathy, turning your compassion against you. Empathy is one of humanity's greatest strengths, a bridge that connects us, allowing us to understand and support each other. But in the hands of a gaslighter, your empathy becomes a weapon aimed squarely at your sense of peace. They twist your kindness, your willingness to see the best in people, into a trap. Suddenly your compassion feels like a leash, keeping you tethered to someone who manipulates your emotions for their gain. Gaslighters are skilled at spotting compassionate people. They know you'll second-guess your frustration, that you'll pause before confronting them because you want to understand understand where they're coming from, so they create scenarios that exploit this tendency. They cry crocodile tears playing the victim. When you start to push back, they might even say something like, "You're so sensitive, I thought you'd understand me better." This subtle jab turns the spotlight away from their harmful actions and back onto your supposed shortcomings. Here's where it gets dangerous. Your empathy makes you justify their behavior. Maybe they're acting this way because they're stressed, or they didn't mean to hurt me, they're just going through a lot. While understanding someone's struggles is a beautiful trait, gaslighters use it to excuse their actions entirely. You end up carrying their emotional baggage while they move through life unburdened, manipulating you into thinking it's your responsibility to fix things. To understand this tactic, imagine you're holding a bucket of water for someone. It's not heavy at first and you don't mind helping, but what happens when they keep adding more water, bucket after bucket, while insisting you're strong enough to handle this? Soon your arms ache, and yet you keep holding on because they've convinced you it's your job to do so. Gaslighters use your empathy to pile on emotional weight, leaving you drained while they walk away guilt-free. What's worse, they often frame their manipulation as a test of your compassion. They'll say things like, "If you really cared you'd understand," or they might weaponize your values against you, saying, "I thought you believed in forgiveness." It's a psychological sleight of hand. They deflect accountability by making you feel guilty for not being empathetic enough. In reality, true empathy is a two-way street. It's about mutual understanding and support, not one person giving endlessly while the other takes. So how do you break free from this emotional trap? Start by recognizing that empathy doesn't mean enabling. Marcus Aurelius, a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom, reminds us, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. But tolerance doesn't mean allowing someone to mistreat you. It means understanding their struggles without letting them cross your boundaries. A practical step is to practice what's called compassionate detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you care in a way that protects your emotional health. For instance, if someone's behavior is hurtful, acknowledge their struggles but hold them accountable. You can say, "I understand you're going through a tough time, but that doesn't excuse how you treated me." This approach respects both your empathy and your boundaries. Another strategy is to observe patterns instead of isolated incidents. Gaslighters thrive on your ability to forgive momentary lapses, but patterns don't lie. Ask yourself, am I constantly excusing the same behavior? Reflect on whether your compassion is being returned or simply exploited. Finally, build a circle of trust outside the gaslighter influence. Share your experiences with people who value you for who you are, not what you give. These trusted allies can help you see manipulation for what it is, reminding you that you deserve relationships where empathy flows both ways. Weaponized empathy is a cruel twist of something inherently good, but it doesn't have to define your relationships. Remember, genuine compassion is never a burden, it's a strength. By setting boundaries and staying anchored in your truth, you reclaim your empathy as a force for connection, not control. That's not just self-preservation, it's wisdom. The confidence thief. Undermining your belief in yourself. Confidence is the foundation of a resilient mind. It's what helps you stand firm in your decisions, trust your instincts, and move forward with purpose. Gaslighters know this. They know that if they can chip away at your confidence, they can gain control over you. This isn't just an attack on your self-esteem, it's an intricate, calculated theft of your belief in yourself. The way this tactic unfolds is chilling in its subtlety. It often starts small with seemingly harmless comments. "Are you sure about that?" or "You always get so emotional over little things." At first you might shrug it off, but the repetition is deliberate. Over time, these remarks aren't just about individual moments, they become about you as a person. Suddenly your decisions, your feelings, and even your identity are all under scrutiny. The real damage comes when their voice begins to replace your inner voice. You might find yourself second-guessing everything. Should you speak up in that meeting? Should you trust your instincts in an argument? Should you even try something new? The confidence thief has done its job when you're no longer sure of yourself without their validation, or worse, their permission. Why does this tactic work so well? Because confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a muscle that grows stronger with use. Every time you trust yourself and succeed, you reinforce your ability to handle life's challenges. Gaslighters know this, so they work to starve that muscle, leaving you dependent on them to feel capable. It's a slow erosion, but the impact is profound. Think about how this plays out in everyday life. Maybe you're excited about a new project at work, but the gaslighter dismisses your ideas with a smirk and a comment like, "That's a little ambitious, don't you think?" Or maybe you're thrilled about a personal achievement, but they manage to downplay it, saying, "Well, anyone could have done that." These remarks might seem insignificant, but over time they accumulate like drops of water carving into stone. The ancient Stoics believed that confidence stems from knowing your worth independent of others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external. The pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it. A gaslighter thrives on making you doubt your estimates, your judgments, your strengths, your worth. So how do you reclaim your confidence from their grasp? The first step is awareness. Start noticing the patterns. Pay attention to how often they question your abilities or diminish your achievements. Once you see it, you can stop internalizing it. Remember, their words reflect their insecurities, not your reality. Next, rebuild your confidence with intentional action. Start small, make decisions without seeking their input, even on minor things, and celebrate those choices. Confidence grows when you prove to yourself that you can trust your instincts. It's also crucial to reaffirm your strengths. Create a list of your accomplishments, skills, and qualities that make you proud. Read it often, especially when their words start to creep into your mind. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, those who see your war without trying to diminish it. Finally, set firm boundaries. If the gaslighter tries to undermine you, call it out. Say, I've thought this through and I trust my decision. You don't owe them a further explanation. Confidence isn't about convincing others, it's about trusting yourself. The confidence thief is one of the gaslighter's most potent weapons, but like all theft, it only succeeds if you let them take what's yours. By recognizing their tactics and standing firm in your truth, you can rebuild and protect your belief in yourself, and when you do, their power over you crumbles. Confidence isn't just a gift, it's your shield. Wear it boldly, creating chaos. Confusion as a control mechanism. Confusion isn't just a byproduct of manipulation, it's often the entire strategy. Gaslighters thrive in chaos because confusion keeps you vulnerable, reactive, and ultimately dependent on their narrative. The more uncertain you feel, the easier it becomes for them to step in as the supposed voice of reason, guiding you toward decisions that serve their agenda. This tactic isn't about random disorder, it's intentional. Gaslighters manipulate through contradiction, half-truths, and selective memory. One day they praise your judgment only to criticize it harshly. The next, they'll twist conversations, claiming you said things you didn't or deny things they clearly said. Over time, this inconsistency wears you down, making you doubt your perception of reality. The chaos isn't just external, it takes root in your mind, making you second-guess your thoughts, memories, and even your identity. Assume you're trying to navigate a maze where the walls constantly shift. That's what it feels like when a gaslighter employs confusion as a weapon. For example, they might suddenly change their stance on a major issue, leaving you questioning whether you misunderstood them, or they might say something hurtful then claim, I never said that. Why are you making things up? The goal is to destabilize you, to keep you guessing so they can maintain the upper hand. This tactic works because humans crave clarity. We're wired to seek pattern and make sense of the world. When someone deliberately disrupts that clarity, it creates cognitive dissonance, a psychological tension between what you know to be true and what they insist is real. The longer this tension persists, the more likely you are to surrender your version of reality in favor of theirs, just to find peace. The Stoics believed clarity of mind was essential to living well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. This wisdom teaches us that truth and stability are protective forces shielding us from manipulation. Gaslighters aim to strip you of that truth, leaving you adrift in their manufactured chaos. Breaking free from this control mechanism starts with grounding yourself. Keep a written record of important conversations or events. Document what was said and done so you have a tangible reference when the gaslighter tries to distort reality. These records can act as anchors, keeping you connected to the truth even when the gaslighter attempts to uproot it. Next, trust your intuition. Chaos creates self-doubt, but your gut instincts are often your clearest guide. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. Pause and reflect before letting the gaslighter's narrative replace your own. Reclaiming your mental clarity also means creating spaces of calm outside the chaos. Spend time with people who value honesty and consistency. Their stability can counterbalance the turbulence the gaslighter creates. Practices like mindfulness and meditation can also help you regain focus, allowing you to see through the noise and recognize manipulation for what it is. It's also best if you try not to engage in their games. Gaslighters often escalate confusion when you challenge them, introducing new distractions or shifting the argument entirely. Instead of getting caught up in their web, step back and say, this conversation isn't productive right now, let's revisit it later. This deflates their power and gives you time to re-enter yourself. Confusion as a control mechanism is one of the most disorienting forms of manipulation, but it loses its grip when you prioritize clarity and truth. Chaos may surround you, but your mind doesn't have to mirror it by anchoring yourself in reality and refusing to play into their strategies. You reclaim your power and find peace amidst the storm. The illusion of choice making you think it's all your fault. Gaslighting often operates in a shadowy gray area where the manipulator twists reality just enough to make you question your judgment without realizing their hand in it. One of their most cunning tactics is the illusion of choice, subtly framing situations so that, no matter the outcome, you're left feeling responsible for everything that goes wrong. It's not just manipulation, it's psychological warfare designed to erode your self-trust. This technique starts with the gaslighter presenting you with options, but none of them are truly in your favor. They might say you can choose to go ahead with your ideal, but don't come crying to me when it fails, or sure, take that job if you're okay with letting everyone else down. At first glance it appears you have a say, but the framing ensures that any choice you make is accompanied by guilt, doubt, or consequences designed to make you regret your decision over time. This tactic conditions you to incur internalized blame. If you stand firm and things go wrong, you think maybe they were right, I shouldn't have done that. If you follow their suggestion and it backfires, the narrative becomes, why didn't I trust myself? Either way, you're trapped in a cycle of self-recrimination which leaves you vulnerable and reliant on the gaslighter to guide you. Next time, this tactic is particularly effective because it preys on your natural desire to take responsibility for your actions. Ownership of one's choices is a sign of emotional maturity, but the gaslighter weaponizes this virtue against you. They blur the line between accountability and blame, making you carry burdens that aren't yours to bear. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful antidote to this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The illusion of choice is designed to distract you from this truth, making you believe external forces dictate your self-worth. But the reality is that while you can't control how others manipulate situations, you can control how you interpret and respond to them. To dismantle this illusion, start by reframing how you view choice. Not every decision is yours to own fully. Sometimes the circumstances or the people influencing you bear just as much responsibility. Ask yourself, did I make this decision based on my values and understanding, or was I pressured into it? This simple reflection can help separate genuine accountability from unfair blame. It's also essential to identify the patterns in how the gaslighter frames situations. Do they always set you up to fail or feel guilty? Once you recognize these patterns, you can anticipate their tactics and choose not to engage. For instance, when they say, "Go ahead but don't blame me later," respond with clarity, "If I make this choice, I'll own the consequences, but not because you predicted failure." This shifts the power dynamic, asserting your agency without accepting their blame. It's also equally important to build a support system outside the gaslighter sphere of influence. Trusted friends, mentors, or even a journal can help you process decisions objectively, free from the manipulator's skewed perspective. These external viewpoints can reaffirm your ability to make sound choices even when the gaslighter tries to undermine them. The illusion of choice is a masterstroke of gaslighting because it turns your own sense of responsibility into a weapon against you. But by recognizing the tactic and reasserting control over your narrative, you can dismantle its power. True choice isn't about pleasing others or avoiding blame. It's about aligning with your values and trusting yourself. That's the kind of freedom gaslighters fear most, and it's a freedom worth fighting for. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the surprising ways gaslighter has manipulated your mind. We hope that these insights have empowered you to recognize these tactics, protect your sense of self, and regain clarity where manipulation has created doubt. Remember, understanding the game is the first step to stepping out of it. By staying grounded, trusting your intuition, and cultivating self-awareness, you'll not only shield yourself from manipulation but also strengthen your emotional resilience. Each time you reclaim your narrative, you take a step closer to a life of authenticity, balance, and inner peace. It's about learning to see through the fog of manipulation and stepping confidently into the light of your own truth. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more empowering content designed to help you navigate life's challenges with wisdom and clarity. Stay aware, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.